posting them? Well, I edit before releasing anything out into the open. Before explaining my process of editing photos, I wanted to explain why I use raw file format when given the chance. I read through Fred Drew's digital diary in the Photographers Society of America Journal, or the PSA Journal, and Ben Long's article in Macworld to see the pros and cons of shooting RAW. Dana Benoit mentions that shooting in RAW is like the digital version of shooting in film. Both of these need to be processed before they are finalized. Why shoot RAW? Some people find this unnecessary. RAW has a large file size, and that means that the information captured from when you take the picture is going to be collected and saved. But in JPEGs, the file is compressed, and that means that there is going to be a file size. Dealing with RAWs also means that I have to take extra time to edit it. And that can be one of the big negatives for some people. However, I found a lot of ways to make this process a lot faster. Since I run a photography business, I'm familiar with my own process. However, I was curious to see what the professionals had to say. I looked at Mark Gaylor's article in Studio Photography, The Business Behind the Image, and it really resonated with me. I think a common misconception is that people feel like they are paying for just the photographer's time on the day of the shoot, but they also often forget that they are paying for the countless hours spent editing. After reading through this and looking through Benoit's article from the PSA Journal, I kind of saw that my process matches what the experts also wanted. I started out with taking 267 images in the course of an hour. After, I imported them into Lightroom, which is a raw photo editing software, and I started culling. Culling is the process in which you have all your images, and then you just narrow them down so that you don't have as many. Lightroom also allows star ratings, so for each picture that is decent, I put 1 star. I go through the images quickly, trusting my first instincts because there are a lot of repeat images. This first round gave me 93 images after. I can also press 0 to remove stars, so I go back again and I press 0 on the images that I don't like the second time around. And after that, I ended up with 59 images. Lightroom also enables color coding for pictures. I like to group similar groups of pictures in different color categories for a more efficient editing process. After that, I head over to my Develop tab. I view all of my red labeled photos and I start editing. I start with the 3 basic components: exposure, contrast, and white balance. Exposure controls the brightness, and here in this photo, as you kind of can see, not really, I upped the exposure because the photo wasn't bright enough. And then afterwards, I went into the contrast controls so that I could deepen the shadows and lighten the highlights. And then after that, I controlled the white balance, which means that I can control the warmness of the photo, or how cool the photo is, or how orange or blue it is, and also how green or magenta the photo is. I also went in and controlled the vibrance. Afterwards, I selected all of the red photos and I synced the settings. This makes for a faster process because there's no need to readjust every single photo after you've perfected how you like your editing in all the photos. This is particularly effective if you're shooting and there's a whole bunch of pictures in one setting and you don't want to waste your time doing that. I go through all the photos again and double check just so that I can adjust if I need to. For example, in this photo, I thought that it had too much magenta. It could be a little bit warmer, and it needs a little less exposure, so I adjusted accordingly. While I'm editing more in depth, I may find that I don't like a photo anymore, so I just go ahead and remove the star. This is almost like my 3rd round of culling because I'm editing at the same time. Afterwards, I move on to the next color group and I repeat until I'm done with all of my color groups. I decrease my editing time by over 50% just by syncing and grouping. Sometimes the skin might look too orange, especially in this shoot, because the brick wall reflected on their faces. So what I did was I changed the orange slider and the saturation settings to decrease the amount of orange. I adjusted each picture without batch editing since each photo is different in this case. Normally, I'll also whiten teeth and fix the blemishes, and then I'll export as a JPEG. This is just a shortened version of the editing process, but the next time you think a photographer is expensive, remember that you are also paying for their editing time, in addition to the short amount of actual time shooting. You can also apply the same knowledge on your own photos, especially if you're posting on Instagram or something like that. Whether you're an intense hobbyist or you just want to make your social media feeds looking fresh, I hope my editing methods helped you.